Population talk over. Nigga, dig this. I'm about to sun kiss
like a soda. Make J to the moi.
Put his lips on his line.
Really kiss the game goodbye. Hurt you kiss. Spitting candy bars. Nigga sweeter than a Hershey kiss. About to work the fifth. Reverend gotta get a hearse for kiss. You broke. Talking about you rocked yourself out. Really wish you knocked yourself out. Yo, that was classic Joinski, right? You know, again, man, from the P, man. You know what I mean? It's always going to be records from the P. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. But, check it. Real quick. Real quick for the Super Bowl, man. You know what I'm saying? We got the Super Bowl jumping off tomorrow. Couple things to close out this season. Couple things close this season, man. You know, I've been, you know, I stay tapped in, you know what I'm saying? So I'm aware, you know what I mean, and all this, what's going on with, you know, they finally found a coordinator they wanted to hire. The news of Coach Stoutland retiring, Coach Fangio contemplating retirement, Landon Dickerson contemplating retirement, and Lane Johnson contemplating retirement. A lot of doom and gloom, right? A lot of doom and gloom with those announcements. And you know it's always funny. No matter what the announcement is, a lot of these folk will find a way to blame it on the quarterback. You know, they'll find a way to make it Jalen's fault. Oh, the guy don't want to work with Jalen no more. No matter what it is. They couldn't find an offensive coordinator. You know, they doing their due diligence. They searching through. Don't nobody want to be the coordinator for him. Coach is talking about retiring. I don't want to work with him. It's just a comedy joke at this point, man. My thoughts on all these retirements and all this, but it is what it is. I mean, Lane is at that age. First of all these people are at that age. You know what I'm saying? The only person that's not is Landon Dickerson, but this is because of injury. It's not like he's like, oh, I won't play football no more because I won't be on this. He has an injury, a very significant injury that he's like, you know what, I might have to hang up my cleats. Hey, man, that's tough breaks. You see what I'm saying? Like, when that happens, it's tough breaks. The boy been a Pro Bowler since he stepped on the field at left guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, helped us out a lot, man. That's tough breaks if that's how it go down. With Lane, Lane been contemplating retirement the last few years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. Stoutland, same thing. Fangio, same thing. They're all at an age in their career where you contemplate retirement, right? Stoutland flat out said, I'm done. I'm retiring. Now, they're going to say, oh, the coach undermined them and all this and the third. Man, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. You can read the reports and all this. They saying, oh, they took away the run game, coordinated shit from him and all that. You know what I'm saying? Now, was the run game working? No. But, you know, based on what he's done year after year after year, then yeah, he deserved the benefit of the doubt and the benefit to go on. You know what I mean? I'm 100% agree with that. You know, so maybe that ruffled his feathers and he said, you know what, I don't need a shot. I'm at retirement age, I'm retiring. If that's so, then, you know, that's tough. You know what I'm saying? That hurts the team. Like, you know, for a lot of people's money, they said Coach Stout was the best coach on the staff. You know what I'm saying? For some people's money, it's Vic. You know what I'm saying? For some people's money, it's Nick. You know what I mean? For some people, you know what I mean? So, hey, you know, again, man, all this doom and gloom shit, I don't subscribe to it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of the team. I don't subscribe to the doom and gloom. I know negativity sells and gets people talking and running off at the mouth and tuning into things. That's what sells, right? Negativity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, me, I normally get 30 views, something like that, on my videos or whatever. But I don't do this to be a YouTuber, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I do this to get shit off my chest and to put something out for the people that do want to listen. You know what I mean? Just get my opinion out. You see what I'm saying? So that is, if I get one view on all my videos, that's cool, right? But I noticed the video I did about Josh Allen, that had like quadruple the views of any of my videos. And quadruple the comments, 5 times the comments of any of my videos, right? Because people took it as negative that I'm coming at Josh Allen. So look, all of a sudden it was popping. Ain't nobody dumb. Like, you know what I mean? So that's what people do on radio and TV and all that. Like, that I mean, that's what drives it. But that's not the kind of person. I'm not into that. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving my honest opinion on something, and it just so happened people took it as me coming at him or whatever, and it turned into a negative thing. And then all of a sudden I got all these comments and people wanting to, you know what I mean? So I'm well aware of how the game work. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't what I'm subscribed to, man. You know what I'm saying? I just tell it like it is. Now, point somewhere out on my page where I said some shit that wasn't facts. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what I stick to. I stick to the facts, man. Like, I stick to what actually happened. You know what I mean? So, that's what that is. You turn on Philadelphia radio every day when I go to work. Turn on radio. Turn on the station. Here they go. Oh, this doom and gloom. The quarterback. The coach is this. Listen, man. Then they had the podcast. I guess AJ did the podcast with Mike and all these other motherfuckers. And now it's, now they talk about that. And it's like, listen, man. Listen. Listen, man. This is what I want to say, right? This is what I want to say about this regime. I want this on record. That's another reason why I do this shit. Push it on record. So you can reference it later, what I said. This is what it is, man. With this regime, right? Think of it like this, man. This is how I look at it. The Philadelphia Eagles, right? The organization as a whole is one big storybook, right? It's one big, thick storybook that's still being written. We don't know when it's going to end. The pages, but it's still being written, right? You can read the chapters that have happened already. Well, of course, we don't know the chapters in the future, but you can read those chapters, right? And I'm not going to say each regime is a chapter, but each regime is a different section of the book. So let's say Dick Vermeil and Jaworski, they have, maybe some chapters, right? Andy Reid and Donovan, they have their and so, Buddy Ryan and Randall, their they have their chapters, their section of the book, right? And you read about that regime, what they accomplished and everything. That's how I think about this thing, right? So Nick and Jalen, right? We're currently in Nick and Jalen's chapter of the book. I don't know how many chapters it's going to span. I don't know. But we're currently in the part of the book that we're with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, right? They came in, joined at the hip. We always think of the coach and the quarterback, right? Like I just said, Vermeil and Jaws, Ryan and Cunningham, McNabb, Reed. You know what I'm saying? Now we're Sirianni and Hurts, right? So that's the section of the book we're in. Now, all this negativity, everything being said, it is. Listen, this is how I see it. And this is why this is currently my favorite chapter of this book. Because this coach and this quarterback, right, joined at the hip. All this winning, again, let's look at the 5-year run since they got together. It's playoffs every year. 2 Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowl victory, right? That's the 5-year run that they just completed, right? So, in the book, the people will have you believe that the coach is an idiot that has no clue. People question every day, well, what does he do? Right? What does he do? I don't understand what he do. What does he do? He's a CEO head coach. What does he do? Meanwhile, you have 2 CEO head coaches in the Super Bowl playing tomorrow. They're both CEO head coaches. Neither one calls plays. But, let's save it. Let's stay on topic when I'm talking about. So the coach, the idiot, don't know what he do. What does he do? What does he need for, right? And then the quarterback. Everybody tell you he's not good. He sucks. He can't throw the middle. He can't read the D. He can't make the throws. He don't know. He just can't. So we have this current regime, right, is led by a coach who has no clue and a quarterback that can't play the position. That's what they tell us every day. But look at this 5-year run they have had. That's why this is my favorite regime, because to hear everybody tell it, the coach is an idiot and the quarterback cannot play the 2 of the most important things that you need on your football team, right? Your head coach and your quarterback. Everybody will have you believe we got the worst of the worst. A coach that cannot coach, a quarterback that cannot play. And look at what they've done together in this 5-year run. That's why they're my favorite regime. The more people hate and throw them under the bus, the more I love them. You know what I mean? The more I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I fucks with them, man, because nobody else don't. They found themselves in a situation where they will get none of the credit for the team's success and all of the blame for the team's failure. That's the situation they have found themselves in. None of the credit for all that winning and all of the blame for the failures. That's how the ball bounce sometimes. But this is my favorite regime right now. It's still being written. I don't know how many more chapters we got with this regime. It could be over next year. You know, Sirianni could be fired and Jalen could be out as quarterback. This I know. This I would bet my life on. 20, 25 years from now, when we look back at this chapter of the book, it's going to be looked back at fondly. And people are going to say, damn, that regime was winning football games left and right at a 70% clip. They went to 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. Damn, that regime was you know what I'm saying? You see how they speak glowingly about Reed and McNabb now? Now this has been 20 years since that regime, right? They went to 4 straight NFC title games, brought home nothing. You see what I'm saying? Didn't win, got to the Super Bowl one time and lost. But you see how glowingly they talk about them now? Now Andy Reid's the guru and McNabb is this great thrower of the football. You see how they do that now 20 years later? But see, I remember 20 years ago. Reid was talking about as an idiot. McNabb was talking about that he couldn't play the position. He couldn't throw the ball. He's throwing worm balls and he's a choke artist, all this other shit, right? So sometimes you got to wait until that regime is gone for a long time. And then when people start reading about it and looking at the success they had, and then once again stepping back and realizing how hard it is to win in this league, you'll say, damn. Yeah, they may not have won the big game, Reid and McNabb regime, but they went to 4 straight NFC title games, 5 total. 4 straight. Hard to do. No matter which way you slice the cake, it's hard to do. So people now, 20 years later, like, damn, you know what, them teams was good as hell. But 20 years ago, I remember people calling up the radio and bashing them the same way they do Jalen and Nick right now. I don't know how Andy Reid made it 14 years in this city. You know, a lot of winning, yeah, sure, 4 straight NFC title, all that, but 14 years is a long time for a head coach, especially to not have one. So that's what I want to say about this regime. The chapters are still being written, but the legacy has already been set in stone. You know, that's their legacy. A head coach who nobody believed in, a quarterback nobody believed in. Did a lot of winning, got to a Super Bowl, was very competitive in it. The quarterback was the best player on the field. They lost in a nail biter. Nobody thought they would get back. And they were back the year after next facing the same opponent. And not only did they avenge that loss, they crushed them and blocked them from history, from getting the first team to have 3 straight Super Bowls. So they blocked their history and they crushed them. The only reason they got points on the board is because they put the backups in. That part of this regime is already set in stone. It's already been written. The ink on those chapters, the ink is dry. Those pages have been turned. That's the meat and potatoes of this regime. Whatever happens from here on out, that's here on out. See, another thing I bet you 20 years from now when they talk about this regime. Let's say that's it. Let's say they go out, whatever, they don't make playoffs next year. Nick and Jalen are gone, right? The only knock that will be on this regime 20 years from now, when we look back at these chapters, is that they didn't win more than 1 Super Bowl. That would be the only knock. They would say, damn, maybe they should have gotten to 4 and won 3. That'd be the only knock. That would be the only knock on this team 20 years from now. So that's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? So I just enjoy this. This is my favorite regime. They want to, they want to slander them and all that. That's cool, man. Listen, I know 20 years from now what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? So, now as far as the game tomorrow, I got Seattle. You know what I'm saying? I think Seattle's the better football team. I don't even really think. I think, it's a shame what went down in the AFC Championship. No, not only did they lose their quarterback, but the weather factor, I felt like Denver could have beat them easily. But whatever. They made Super Bowl. You can't take people props. You know what I'm saying? But I have Seattle winning this game by double figures. I do believe sometimes in the superstitions where, we blew them out last year, Kansas City. So I kind of feel like because last year's Super Bowl was a blowout, you're going to get a nail biter this year. But if you ask me my official pick, I have Seattle beating them by double digits. That's just my official pick. When I look at the two teams, the two quarterbacks, everything in totality, I got Seattle beating them by double figures. And that's what it is with that. So, wanted to get that off my chest real quick with y'all, man. Give y'all my Super Bowl pick. Let y'all know about how I feel about this Eagles regime, man, as this 2025 season comes to an end. So I'm going to get on y'all. Maybe I'll do another one after post Super Bowl. We'll see. But want to hit y'all with that real quick. And I want y'all to be safe, man. While you're watching the game, be safe, man. If you're going to travel, man, take Ubers, take cabs, man. Don't get too lit. Get back to your family safely. And I'm going to catch you on the next one, all right? Peace.